All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. This is Scott Hudspeth with Millionaire Loan Officer, powered by Mortgage Marketing Animals and the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. I'm here with a dear friend of mine that, man, we've been friends for a long time. And, man, I don't know, man. I'm so impressed with what you've built, what you're doing in a nice small town. Just, man, dude, you're so humble. And I know I'm not going to, like, pull out of you what you've really done. But, like, I really, really appreciate you being on this Millionaire Loan Officer podcast. You had a monster month. What was it, October?
Yeah, in October.
October.
Yep.
Dude, like, just, I mean, if you don't mind, man, I know you're so humble. So, like, what'd you close in October? Because this is epic, and you're in the top 1% of the U.S. So I'm so happy for you, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Scotty. I appreciate you having me on the call today. So in October we ended up closing 5.1 million, 27 loans for our team that way, and it was pretty exciting. That's quite a bit more than we normally average. So it was a great month for sure. It took a lot of work by all of our team members, but we got through it and got it done. So
unbelievable, man. So tell us where you're at, man. Like, where are you located at? Small. I think if I'm not mistaken, the population is really small.
It is. Yeah. So we're in southern Indiana, small town. We're probably 40 miles north of Louisville, Kentucky. Little town called Salem. And I double checked the population the other day. We're a little under, or right at 7,000 for the town. So definitely really small. Even the county has, I double checked it too, a little less than 30,000 in the whole county.
Wow.
So we've been here for a long time. Started in 2001 with a small broker shop, just me and another guy, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But so almost 20 years in the business in this area. But we can't just, with a population of 7,000 people, it's hard to survive there. So we kind of spread out a little bit and do, kind of the metro area of Louisville, Kentucky a little. We get up towards Indianapolis some. So it's kind of all of the southern Indiana area. So.
Got it. Okay. And you just lend it in like the little town of Salem, 7,000, or do you go into Kentucky at all?
Yeah, the majority is in Washington County, in our small county here. So I would say probably 75% is really kind of hyper local, if you want to call it that. And then we do spread out a little bit. And part of the reason why we had a good, volume month in October, we did get a couple loans in the, higher loan amount areas of Louisville and central Indiana and that type thing. So that definitely contributed to what we did. So.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Dude, it's so unbelievable. 5.1. And how many loans is that?
27.
27. Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
27 families.
So it was an average. So typically, actually, a few years ago, we were averaging, our loan amount was right around 135 on average. Prices have went up a little bit, so now we're kind of in the 160 range, which is for us is great. But for October, we ended up in like the 195 range on the average. So that helped a ton right there to kind of get us to that point.
Yeah, unbelievable. So man, we all start at zero. Like, and going back to when I first met, dude, it gives me chills. I mean, it really does. And I'm serious about this. When I came down to see you, and I was trying to figure it out, you were trying to figure it out. We're just trying to figure it out together. And man, like, here we are. I don't know how many years later. What is it? 5 years later? 6 years later?
Probably, yeah, 5. I think
5
or
years.
6. Yeah.
So knowing what you know now, man, go back to that 5 or 6 years ago when we first started. Like what would you do different today? Knowing, like, what would you tell someone today that's going, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, weren't it like 3-4 loans a month, if I'm not mistaken, when I first met you?
So,
was it? Okay.
We were right around 10. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what would you, which is amazing, right? What would you tell somebody that was, stuck at that 4 to 5 range? Man, I want to get to 10. I just, what do I need to do? Like, what would you, any advice would you give them?
I mean, I think part of it for us has just been database, really focusing on past customers and that type thing. So I was kind of looking back over the past probably 12 months or so, and that's been 20 or 25% of our business. And part of that is because of where the rates are and the refi boom and that type thing. But I feel like we take pretty good care of our past clients. So we do a physical newsletter every other month. So it goes out in the mail. And we actually kind of have that set up on autopilot. So I have a company that does that for us out of out of California. They do a great job. So basically they just send it for our approval and that goes out. We have a lot of tools at our company with Success Mortgage. So we've got like HomeBot that I use. We do Sales Boomerang, a lot of things like that just kind of keep an eye on our past clients. And we probably have a database of right around 1,000 or 1,100 people that get all those things every month, so so it helps a lot. So definitely having the database organized, and it took me a long time to actually do it. I knew I should do it, but it took me a long time to get there. But finally, when we did that, I think that did, kind of help us kind of focus a little more on that and get a little more business from that, from the database.
Man, I know people that have 3 times the amount of people in their database and they don't close what you close. So do you attribute it to the newsletter every other month, or do you make phone call? Like, what is it that has allowed you to, like, with only 1,100 people in your database, like 27 loans?
Right. It's all the above. So we do some phone calls too. We really we kind of try to identify every month some people that would be a good candidate. If we, if, in case they haven't refied yet, we usually get notified if it's not us, if they go elsewhere through Sales Boomerang. But so yeah, we definitely make some calls every month and kind of just keep a close eye on that, on that list of people. And we do that. A couple of our team members, take care of that. But I think that's helped a lot, just kind of having that focus on that part of the business.
Yeah, because you and I both know how much value there is in somebody that already knows, likes, and trusts you. So you just went. It sounds like you went all in with that, and like now they just know you. Like, and I love your little backdrop there, the success on your phone, little that's pretty cool.
Success is calling. So yeah, so just a matter if we're going to answer it or not. But
that's really cool. Yeah, you've answered the call, man. It sounds like you answer it every day. So HomeBot Sales Genie. So Sales Genie is a system that allows you to get notified when any one of your clients pulls a credit anywhere, right?
Yeah. So Sales Boomerang. So yeah, if a credit gets ran, we get notified. Basically, I think it's the next morning we get notified that it's been ran. Then we reach out to them, and see if we can, basically help them in any way. And if they're already set with what they're doing, fine. But we would definitely want to get our foot back in the door to see if we can help. So.
Awesome. And what does a team look like that closes 27 loans? You said you wanted to bring up somebody else. Who's this other person you wanted to talk
about? So kind of like I've noticed on some of your other calls, you ask about who your first hire should be and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so in 2002 is when I started. 2003. Well, let me tell you about 2002 real quick. So my first year in the business, I closed 11 loans for the whole year, and 2 of those loans, one of them was for my dad. One of them was for my father-in-law. So really, I only closed 9. And actually, I thought my dad was going to rescind on his refinance because I had him in escrows and he didn't want escrows. And we still joke about that to this day. So I was lucky to get number 11. But yeah, so we started in 02. And then in 03, I hired Doug Dillon. He's basically a loan officer assistant. And he's kind of stayed in that role basically from then until now. So he's been on and off just a little bit. After 2008, we made a few changes. But other than that time frame, almost 20 years we've worked together there, and he does a great job. So he's more of an extrovert than I am. So he does a lot of the realtor marketing things, and he does a lot of the outbound calls, and things like that. So that's kind of where we started with one of our team members.
Gotcha.
Another one we've got Russell Terry. So he's been with us for 2 years. Russell was brand new in the business when he started. He's actually from Lakeland, Florida, and he moved up here about 2 years ago. So he is in our local office, and he's my future son-in-law. So he'll be joining the family next year. Wow. But Russell does a good job. So we've kind of taught him the business, and he does a lot of loan setup, disclosures, things like that. Just a lot to kind of help the team get through the front end of the process.
Love it.
So we've got Russell. We've got a lady, her name is 2KO up in Michigan. So she works offsite, and she helps with some verifications and order outs and things like that. And she is just she's been with us for about a year, and just a big part of that support on the front end of things. Once we get a file started, she'll help us copy files and just help with a lot of Encompass, tasks that where she can just kind of pitch in, in different areas.
Her name's 2K.
Yes. Yep.
What's that?
Yeah. So, yeah. No, she's awesome. We've had she worked for a bank, I think, for 2 years, and then she joined us, like I say, in that support role. And she's been really good for us. We've got a processor and kind of a processor assistant. So our processor assistant's been with us for about 2 years. And that's one thing that's kind of cool is, our team's kind of been together for a while now. So that's helped a lot too, kind of get, kind of a flow to all the processes and things that we've got in place. But her name is Sally. So Sally's in Alabama. She works offsite. And she does a great job. So she helps with getting items needed from customers. She helps with getting conditions, things like that, just different things from appraisers that we might need. things along those lines. And then Becca Lang is our main processor. Becca is the key to our business for sure. She knows guidelines, frontwards and backwards. She's on top of everything. She's organized. She just takes care of everything from basically once it goes into processing to closing. And that helps a ton too, so she does a great job.
Beautiful. So is Becca on site or is she virtual too?
No, she's virtual. She's in Alabama, and she actually, she knew Sally, so she brought her on. Becca's been with us 4 years, I believe.
Wow.
Sally was her neighbor, never been in the mortgage business.
What?
She had an accounting degree, so she brought her on board and trained her up really quickly. And Sally got up to speed real fast, so that worked out really well.
So 50% of your business is virtual. Like 50% of your team is virtual. It sounds like.
Correct. Yeah.
Dylan's in-house, you're in-house, and your son-in-law's in-house, Russell.
Yep. Correct.
Cool. So 50-50.
Yep.
So virtual world, man. You're building a team from the United, wherever you want.
Yeah, exactly. We do have 2 part-time loan officers. They close a couple loans a month for us, but they definitely contribute to Chad and Brian. But yeah, Chad's been with us a little over a year, Brian 2.5 years or so. And so they make up a couple of those deals every month too, which is nice. That helps on the revenue side and cover expenses. So
cool. And how do you communicate with your virtuals? Do you do daily, weekly, every other day? Like how does that look with your pipeline I'm sure if you had 27 closings, you had 35, 40 in processor coming through, like didn't stop. So how does the communication work having a virtual team like that?
Yeah, so we're on the phone all the time with each other. That's a big part of it. It's just kind of a constant communication between the guys here in our office and Alabama, basically. But then we do at least one pipeline call a week, pretty detailed, and we'll do that. And then we'll probably usually like on a Thursday or Friday, we'll do just a quick overview of the pipeline just to see if there's anything we need to get done before the weekend. Just kind of get wrapped up. So that's typically how that looks, but it's always we're just always communicating,
Awesome. So you got loan partner, you got processors, you got Russell, who's it sounds like you have all the pieces taken care of. What does Nathan do? What does Nate do like on a daily basis? And have you removed yourself from the production? You still out on the street? Like what are you doing?
Yeah. So for a big part of it, I've removed myself from the process. And I think it was 2014. I went to Nashville to the 3-day meeting with the marketing animals with you guys, and I can't remember if you were there or not. That was kind of the first time I had heard of Carl and a couple of the guys. For some reason, I think you weren't there that.
I missed that one. I missed that one.
But it was awesome though, and it kind of changed the way that I kind of looked at things. And even though that was 6 or 7 years ago now, that left a mark on me on how I need to run my business. So it took a while to get there. So here we are in 21, and got taken out of, I would say 75% of the stuff that I used to do. So that allows me to kind of do some more marketing and get some things set up that way. And hopefully leading into next year, doing some more YouTube videos and things like that, because we've got some leads from that and some traction on that side of things. And then on, kind of outside of the business, I do some real estate investing and things like that too. So with some flip homes and stuff. So anyway, that's kind of how my day looks. It's just kind of a mix of all that stuff. So
it sounds fun to me, man. Like it sounds like, truly, Nate, you've built a business, like you've built a true business that's sustainable if you're there or not, is what it.
Right.
And if you're just selling and building relationships and deepening relationships, that doesn't need to be done every day. Right.
Right. Yep. And that was definitely the goal, and I'm definitely excited to kind of be at this point. And it's allowed us to travel quite a bit this year too, to take some trips and things that we hadn't been able to do before. And it's all thanks to the team, because I know I can count on the group that I have now. So
they can count on you too. They count on you to go drive it in the door, and then they're just there to take care of it, which is it's a double-edged sword. Some people hire people and then they don't do anything else, so
right.
You actually said, all right, I got a bunch of families that count on me. So you strapped her on and let's go. So congratulations on that, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. We've been through a few people to get to that point.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get the right, team members in place, but once you get the right people, you definitely want to do what you can to keep them. And I think so far we've been able to do that pretty well. So that's exciting too. So
what do you, because I hear that a lot, Nate. People hire somebody, oh, that didn't work. That person, oh, that's not going to work. So I'm just going to do it myself. And obviously you said, no, I'm gonna push through this, and you said you've hired a couple of people to find the right people, what would you tell somebody that's looking for that person? Would you say, man, just keep going, or like, build your bench, or like what would you tell somebody that's struggling finding the perfect team?
Yeah, I mean, building the bench is a good idea for sure, but yeah, definitely keep going with it. I mean, you'll eventually find the right person, and like you said a little earlier, they can be from anywhere. You can find somebody on the other side of the country that can do the job.
Yeah.
I feel like for us, as long as it's somebody I can kind of click with, our personalities kind of match up, and and they're motivated, to work. Usually that can work out pretty well. So I think personality is a big thing, and but like I say, it doesn't matter necessarily if they have that experience. Just like with Sally, somebody can be trained up pretty quickly to get up to speed. So, but yeah, definitely keep working on that, and have, if you can have somebody in the background that's kind of ready, definitely do that. And if you can bring them on, the sooner the better, because like we've all kind of talked about before, the more, the better, the more people you have, the more stuff you can get done and kind of take you again out of that equation. And it can usually, add to more loans, in the future. So if you can have somebody to kind of take off another piece that maybe your processor's doing and make her job a little easier on down the line. I mean, if you can add somebody, I would definitely do it. So
how do you overcome the fear of like writing that check for that first employee? Because obviously that's hard for everybody. It's like, man, I just made it. I know I need somebody, but now I got to spend this much money to get somebody good to help me go to the next level. So, we call it a fish hook. You go backwards a little bit, like what helped you to get over that, and maybe it didn't have it, but I know I did. Everybody I've talked to has, but was that an issue for you, and how'd you push through it?
I mean, it was, but on the flip side of that, you got to look at what kind of return you can have. And definitely when it comes to time and not working 60 and 70 hours a week, on mortgages, because that gets old real quick, after you've done it for 20 years, not really in the mood to do that all the time. So I had that motivation to kind of, put some of those things off on, on some team members. And I knew if we could get it done right, that it'd definitely be worth the money, once we got into it. So
perfect. And how do you, on these virtual employees, do you interview them virtually? Do you fly them in? Do you go to them? How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, basically virtually. So, for example, like Becca, I knew her from a previous company, and we had left, and she came about 7 months later, and she had reached out to me, and we talked several times to make sure it could work, But as soon as I realized, kind of her knowledge base and what she could do, it was a pretty easy decision. And then in Michigan with two, I mean, we basically just kind of did that by phone and talked to her, and she kind of demonstrated. I kind of gave her a few things to work on to make sure she could kind of do what we needed as far as a few tasks up front. And she was good with that, and she's great. She's like, her attention to detail is almost flawless. So that helps a lot too. So, yeah, so basically phone and virtually. So.
And it's really, Nate, it's a results-based business, right? You're hiring LOA processor, whatever. I mean, it's all about results, and is the customer happy, and are we closing on time?
Right.
And if it doesn't, then you go, all right, where'd the ball get dropped? Who dropped it? And then you just kind of figure it out that way. And maybe it's lack of training or whatever. So yeah, man, I'm so glad we're talking about this, because I think people are nervous and still having a hard time, even with COVID. And we're all virtual, all working from home and all this stuff. People are still having a hard time going, I don't know. I want somebody under my roof, I want to be able to see them and talk to them and have them, you know what I mean? And you're not like that. So that's so cool that you just, you can build an amazing team from anywhere.
Yeah. But part of that was I just actually bought an office building this summer. So we moved our office to a new location with more room, but I didn't have a choice before that. We had basically 2.5 rooms so if I was going to have any team members, they would have had to sit out on the sidewalk, so
that's awesome.
If they're going to be in-house. So, but yeah, so that was kind of a necessity of that. But once we got Becca hired, offsite, I realized how easy that it basically is now to be able to do that. So yeah, that's definitely for us anyway, not really a hurdle anymore, the way things are set up. So
unbelievable, man. Dude, I'm so impressed, man. Like this is like one of the best interviews I had in a long time. So it's just, I think the best part about it is I knew you from 10, but 10 for you was right around $1 million, I think, or barely, your loan sizes were so high or so low at that time. And, it's just it's so cool. 195. I mean, holy smokes, man. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? We close. How much is that loan? And then you're, so surreal, man, for real.
Yeah, no, it's awesome for sure. And we're definitely excited about it and excited excited looking into next year and kind of how things can go from there too. So,
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So you bought an office building, you're flipping some houses, you're running an uber successful mortgage business. What's next for you, man? What's coming in 2022? I mean, like you probably like, man, never thought about it that way. Like,
yeah, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but one thing that's kind of cool, it's separate from the mortgage business, but it's kind of a sideline to that, is we're going to actually open a modular home dealership in 2022. So that way we can kind of generate more leads if they don't want to buy a manufactured home or a mod. Hey, let's get them, moved over to on the mortgage side. And let's get them a house that's already existing. So kind of another sideline to that, and that'll take some time, but we've already got our approvals and we're moving forward. And we've got a couple clients that are looking, basically ready to move forward with a home. So it's kind of cool. So doing that along with some other things. So yeah, we got all kinds of irons in the fire right now. So
wait a minute, you're going to open a modular home dealership?
yeah, that's the game plan. Yeah. So right now it's kind of virtual too on that, because I don't have a lot with any model homes quite yet, but that hopefully midsummer next year we'll be able to get our first one in. But yeah, that's definitely the game plan. So
Unbelievable, man. That dude, I can't even wait to interview you a year from now after that's like up and running. Like that's a first. So I might call it. Yeah.
Like hey, no, we're fired up. We've got a couple salespeople that we're interviewing for that, and hopefully we'll have a decision made on that and at the end of the month here. And then kind of go head first into that and generate some more leads. See what happens.
How exciting, man! Man, your wife's just got like, man, who is this guy? Like, who is this guy I'm married, man? Like, just like we're his own little closing 10 loans a month, having a good time, and now we're like, whoa, 4 businesses. Like,
there you go. That's right.
So cool. That is so cool. Can't wait to see you next week. So, man, man, like you've done so much, and you're so young, and you have so much ahead of you. It gives me chills talking about it. What would you tell somebody that is like struggling a little bit, or maybe just getting in the business? Like what advice would you have from that point of view for somebody that's like just getting started or struggling a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely get in the business. First of all, I think that was a life changer for me. It took a little time to get rolling once I made the change, but if you're thinking about getting in the business, take the step. Take the step. Especially right now, it's a little easier than it may be down the line a little bit to get things started. So I would definitely do it. Take that first step, and then from there, find somebody that you can kind of count on, whether it's a coach or a good mentor that can kind of really get you up to speed. It's easy to learn kind of the nuts and bolts of the business, but learning how to get business is key. And so so whether they join the marketing animals or at least have a really good manager that's going to walk them through that process to get started, I would definitely recommend it. So
awesome, man. Nate, I can't tell you how excited I am for you. I can't wait to follow your journey, man. Congratulations on massive success. The modular home thing has me so intrigued that yeah, I'm probably gonna lose sleep over that one tonight, because that's just I don't know. That just sounds like a brilliant idea. Like why not? Let's throw it out there. Yeah. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Brother, man, congratulations again. Hey guys, Nate in Salem, Indiana, little town just outside of Kentucky, 40 miles outside of Kentucky, just crushing it. 4 businesses. Probably not telling me something. There's another 5. I know there's 5 out there somewhere, so I know he's got something he's holding out on me. So
right.
maybe I'll pull that out of you next week, man. I'll buy you a beer and we'll get you. So can't wait to see it, guys. Thanks so much for joining me right here on Millionaire Loan Officer with Nate Salisbury, right?
Soliday. Yep.
Soliday. Nate Soliday. Sorry, I have all this writing I wrote all around your name. So Soliday in again, Salem. Appreciate you guys. Millionaire Loan Officer, powered by Mortgage Marketing Animals and the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Take action is what Nate said. Like, jump in, don't have a plan B, and just go. Find a mentor, find a coach, find somebody that can help you sell, delegate all the stuff that isn't selling, and man, amazing things happen, as Nate has proven over and over again. So congratulations, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.